Hello, everyone. I'm Catherine. I'm otherwise known as Cat, and I'm from the Health and Wellbeing team. So, time traveling from the 1900s to the 1940s. This is where we started. So, we are currently a team of three. There's myself, Michelle, and Beth. But Beth is currently on maternity leave. So, we have a lovely young lady called Eleanor who's working with us, and our story started a good 14 years ago. We Michelle started having small groups in the pit village in the museum. We started having care home visits, that kind of thing. And then they moved on to the 1940s. So we travel in time quite a bit around here. So we moved up to the 1940s farm, which is where we had our lovely little dining room. And everything we did happened from in there. And then we've moved quickly on and we're on to the 1950s, and this is where we're based now. So we've moved into our home in Clover Cottage, and this is more of a bespoke space built for us. So we've now moved into the 1950s, which is an absolute joy. Given the space we had in the pit village in the 40s, it's quite a small space, but the magic was there. The groups were coming, they were enjoying those sessions. We had people coming with you know, early onset dementia, signs. We had people coming with cognitive impairment, physical needs, and then so those sessions were really focused around using the heritage of the museum and what we have to outreach to those sort of groups that weren't necessarily getting out of their care homes. They were coming in and having smaller sessions with Michelle. So when we moved into the 40s, we um we were able to stretch our legs a bit, and we moved into having our men's groups, um, which is supported by the Cree, which is part of the. Sorry, I've lost track of my thoughts. Part of the Cree, in Durham. So I'm just going to press a button. Right, 2 seconds. Don't mind me. I'm just sorting my little pieces out. So when we moved into the 50s, Michelle had a real dream of what she wanted to achieve with the space we had here. Um, we were offered the opportunity to basically have a bespoke built space. She went to Stirling University, where she studied a bit of dementia design, and this is where the two cottages differ. The cottages are actually replicas of the aged miners' cottages in South Shields. Um, Two of them are very much in the traditional sense, still used by the museum as exhibits with engagers. The other side is built with um, the idea of using the heritage space, the collections, to support people who have, brain changes, need memory support, also need physical support, and they come, and that house is built with the intention of it being wheelchair accessible. The lighting is to suit someone who's visually impaired. All the furniture is designed to provide a modern day level of care with a 1950s feel. As we were designing the house, they very much thought about everything we could need to support someone, say, at the far end of the physical needs. So, someone who uses a wheelchair or a walker, but also isn't visually impaired. So, we have particular heights on cupboards, we have perspex doors. Where you go into the kitchen, you can see physically where the cups are, but we've also really thought about the colour behind the cups. And so the cups are white, but the backend's blue. So there's always that depth perception support there as well. All of the furniture in the house, we really looked at how the chairs looked and felt in that era. But again, they were all designed to suit a modern need. So a lot of them have gel support on them and back supports. So they don't have the rickety old springs that used to sort of stab you in the hip when you were young. Um, as part of the team, we have a big group of volunteers. We have about 23 volunteers that support just our little team. And they were massively involved in the designing of the house. So this is lovely Ruth. She's 90 this year, and she has been one of our volunteers for a long time. She's one of our oldest volunteers, bless her. She's also Mrs. Claus at Christmas, spoiler alert. And she's fabulous. And she loved the chairs so much when they were picking all the items for the house that she actually bought one for herself and got it put in the house. So yeah, she really likes that. But all our volunteers were involved with making things for the house, picking designs, and so were the participants. So everything you see here, this is the internals of the house, down to the cushions, the chairs, the artwork on the walls, the photographs. They're all linked to our participants, volunteers, staff. So everyone who comes in has an element of home attached to the space. I mean, it looks exceptionally tidy on these pictures. It is very lived in now. I've been in here 2.5 years. Um, so yeah, there's a very different feel to the space now. It definitely feels more home than museum. We've currently got the tomato plants on the go and all of that. So the role of museums in health and well-being. So we do a lot of research within our groups, and the general research is that um, cultural activities, museums, galleries, and all that have a big impact on health and well-being. So it reduces social isolation. It can help with positive learning and gaining skills, positive emotions, better communications between families, in helping individuals have that sense of purpose that they may have lost. We see it a lot in our men's groups, particularly if they've had to retire due to ill health or anything like that, that they become. Sorry, 2 seconds. I'm just getting someone to get the phone for me. Thank you. Um, they have a sense of purpose, and by coming in and being part of the museum, they enjoy being part of the wider product that is the museum. They come and they do an activity, or create something or make something, but it's for the museum or being part of the museum. More and more museums and galleries and venues are using innovative ways to use their buildings and spaces. We regularly have trips with some of our gentlemen and groups to the collections. Um, and they really enjoy being part of the behind the scenes, which is nice. We go along and we have a look at the collections, and they can pick things for the house, and or even look at ideas and themes for sessions. And again, if someone comes forward with an idea, it allows us to go into collections and go, right, we've come up with this idea. How can we make this happen, or how can we link it to the history of the museum? So the types of people we're working with in our principles. So people are signposted to our service. They're socially isolated. They're in need of a low level intervention and support with mental health, and that are quite often living with dementia. We focus our work on participants to tailor the session to suit their needs and what they require. And each session's about them leaving, having had a sense of purpose during that session, come away with an element of satisfaction. But also, we really encourage peer support and the volunteers being part of that sort of small network of a group where they can talk about anything they need to discuss, but also share lived experience. And I think that's where the gold is, truly. So Tuesday's men's groups, they're funded through, thank you, I found the sheet that I was looking for before. Funded through Durham County Council's Public Health Cree Network funding. We have 2 groups every week, and it supports men's mental health, focus on meaningful activity, helping with jobs around the museum. And since moving to Clover Cottage, we've been able to expand our range of activities. So now we have a big allotment. We have a functioning kitchen, so we can cook and we can eat whatever we produce. So that's really coming on well. So they're going from the the seeds are going in of the tomatoes, and we're going right through the process to eating the tomato soup at the end. I want to show you this little video. Fingers crossed it works. I might have to stop sharing for a minute, so just bear with me. And I'll see if I can get this to work. Apologies if this goes spectacularly wrong. Right, so share and edge. Oh my word, I think I might well have just pulled this off. Let's go. Can everyone see the men's group workshop video? Excellent. Let's go. The men's group, at Clover Cottage at Beamish Museum have been working on your Christmas bags to buy this season at the gift shop. The process the guys have is they work on, they find a piece of wood, they choose a print, they then work on carving that into the wood, and then using that piece of wood, they ink it up, transfer it onto the lovely bags behind me.
I did the design. I carved it out and whatnot. Alan did the Beamish sign. We've both done some carvings. That one was carved by Bob.
But it's not really about making the bags, it's about the community it creates within the group. These gentlemen have been working on these for quite some time now, over the years, but every season and every new group of chaps that come in, they enjoy learning a new skill, heritage skill.
I just doing my fingers crossed.
I think you will do that.
Yeah, I enjoyed coming here. I look forward to coming here on a Tuesday. These 2 hours make a lot of difference. It's hard to put into words how it makes a difference, but I can't say a bad word about the place, really. They'd probably saved my life.
By you buying one of these amazing Christmas bags, that when he comes back into the group, it allows for all the trimmings on the Christmas dinner, as we always have what we call family Christmas dinner at Clover Cottage, the week before Christmas, where everyone within that group comes along and everyone celebrates together, and that allows for those that, you know, might be isolated at this time of year, don't necessarily have a big family Christmas ahead of them, so we celebrate before they all go off for Christmas.
I wasn't going out of the house, to be honest, and now I have. This has an outlet and I really look forward to it.
So from all of us here at Clover Cottage and the Health and Wellbeing team, we'd like to wish everyone a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and nothing but health and wealth in the new year coming. Take care. Sorry for the excitable seasonal early Christmas message, but you know, it was from last year's footage that they had. As you can see from the guys who were chatting on the footage there, they really enjoy that element of being a part of the museum, but also feeling like they can give back. As part of the development of the house, we were given a wonderful workshop. It was originally a building at the Red Hills in Durham, and it used to be a very posh car garage, I would describe it as, because it was where the manager kept his very posh car. And over the years, it had turned into a shed for the guys that were working there to be their sort of staff room. So when we moved it brick for brick, you know, piece of wood for piece of wood, they came in and they were shocked to see that the wooden lockers were still there with the names on, and because we literally took everything with us. But what I like about our workshop is we've designed it to be fully accessible. So there's raised beds, raised benches, lowered benches, lots of different spaces where they can work. In our men's groups, I find they all navigate to their own spot. They all have their own little part of the workshop that they work in. We do a dementia-friendly music and movement group, just a small group on a Wednesday. And this is very much for people who are a little bit more progressed in the dementia-friendly sort of environment, but they're in a much more dementia progressed state at this point. They come with a partner or a carer, care support, that kind of thing. And we have a wonderful volunteer who comes and she plays a guitar, who it's called Gertie, and we do movement and singing. And it's a lovely group. And again, I just feel like it takes on that full spectrum of the experience of someone who's getting a diagnosis. So Thursday's our main focus dementia group at the minute. What we do with this group is we're using heritage skills to support individuals living with dementia and brain changes, but also we're still promoting that independence. So these chaps are probably in a position where most places that would go now, they may need, some support to attend, a partner or a family member. So we're providing that one-to-one support. We're working alongside Northumbria University Design School to teach the pottery skills, and we've been very lucky to get a kiln in the workshop as well. These are just some of the projects we've been working on. We do a lot of hand-over-hand work with those that need a little bit more support with dexterity and direction. And these are some of the early sort of sessions where we were making sort of flower frogs and labels for the allotment. But they explore colour and texture, and the group as a whole has really come together as quite a lovely, yet again, peer support group. But yeah, I feel like there's a little bit of magic in there, and a lot of that comes from the characters around the table, but also the support of the museum and the heritage skills that we can use, which can be adapted to anyone's ability. And I think that's the bonus of clay, is that you can create something no matter what ability you have. And I think that's where the gold dust is. So these are a couple of the chaps working on a few different projects that they were so we're doing flower pressing. And this is our big reciprocal group. So about a year ago, we started a group with another group called Chili Studios, which was a group for adults suffering with mental health. And so we decided to work alongside them and do a reciprocal project. So everyone within the group was given a list of questions, and they're quite generic questions like, what's your favourite colour? Where do you like to go? What's your favourite animal? And then they were swapped with someone else in the other group. Now, you hadn't met that person. It was purely from imagination and what you had in those questions and the answers you got from the other person. They then created a dinner set. So they're like a cup, a bowl, and then looking at what that person enjoyed or liked, they would then sort of use those themes within the project. And then at the end, we came together and had a meal and shared the project and shared all the pottery and the lovely things they'd made. But then it's become this bigger thing. So we ended up in Gallery North at the university doing our first exhibition. And then now we then did an exhibition at Beamish where it meant everyone's family members and everyone could come and see what everyone had been working on. But then, as I was just saying to lovely Hannah, we've now been nominated for an award at the UK Dementia Awards around this project, which was lovely. I'm hoping this video will play a little bit. It's a really long video, so I'm just going to do a little bit at the beginning because I'm aware that time's sort of moving on.
Jane Wallace, and I'm showing some of the pieces made in the Centering project. It's a long-term research collaboration between the design school at Northumbria University with the health and wellbeing team at Beamish Museum. We've been having a weekly pottery group with people with brain changes, some of whom are living with dementia. So we've got some pieces to show that will help us kind of tell some of that story. My name's Michelle and I'm part of the Health and Wellbeing team here at Beamish. This centering project has been a really amazing journey, really. We always try and make sure that everything we do in the Health and Wellbeing team links with history, heritage. Otherwise, why are we doing it at a museum? So this is a perfect example of a traditional skill, a heritage skill, and we're using it today in different ways. So nobody has done pottery before, but all the different skills that people have from their employment or hobbies at home brought them together in a new way, and I think that's been incredible. At first, they were kind of a bit cautious, but now they are potters. They share their skills with one another. They share ideas. They come up with new ideas, and their confidence in this, and I'd imagine their confidence in other things that they approach that are new, will be just brilliant. So it's been kind of an amazing project to be part of.
So as also as part of what we do is sort of just a little bit of snippet of what we do with the groups on a Thursday. We also do group sessions within the cottage for care homes and other large groups where people might come to the museum, but actually the size and space and moving around is just too overwhelming. So we do run small 2-hour sessions where you can come, you can experience the cottage, you can experience what we do as a team, and then we cook on the fire. Everyone has a crumpet or a piece of toast with jam and butter, and then a cup of tea. And we have a lovely Ruth who comes and plays the piano, and we just use the collections within the house to sort of encourage those memories and have everyone chatting. And just every dynamic is different with every group because you never really know what walks of life you're going to come across within those groups. I love these groups because these are the ones that you never quite know what's coming, but they're really interesting. You meet some remarkable people, and I think it's all about within that encouraging people's independence again, giving them the option to put their own toast and support them with their jam, and just allowing those to take back those little activities that gives them a little bit of purpose or a sense of achievement while they've been here. And these are definitely a lovely little session we run. So this is my great phrase, and Michelle laughs at me all the time, but it's from small acorns, great oak trees grow. And I truly believe that about this project. This project started in a little front room in a 1900s pit village with a table, a chair, and some teas and coffees. And I just think there is so much magic in those little spaces, those little moments. And I think you can build on those. And I think every museum has that capacity to do that. And I think it's a wonderful thing to be able to serve your community as a museum. And I just like to think that by sharing my story and telling everyone sort of what we're doing here, we may have got bigger, but the fundamentals are the same. It's still about being around the table, having a cup of tea at the beginning of the session, talking about your week, your day, what's been going on, and then taking part in an activity that's meaningful and productive. And then, but also finishing that session around the table together so you can talk about what you've done, what you've achieved, and then take that home with you, or we can chat to partners and families after going, actually this has been really successful, I've really enjoyed that. So I just hope everyone takes a little bit from this of you don't need a lot, you don't need a big space, you don't need a lot of money really, just a want to sort of support within your community. And I think that's me. Sorry, is that me done? Yeah. Hang on, there we are. Sorry, did that go too quickly?
No,
too
that
fast?
was fantastic.
No, that's
Catherine. Thank you. So
I feel like I'm on a lot.
no, truly inspirational. I'd like to throw it open to
Mhm.
anyone who's got any queries for Catherine. Susie's got her hand up. Yep, do you want to come in? Find the mute button.
Oh, there's a way. Oh, thank you.
Oh, I'm not used to Zoom. I'm a Teams girl, so
Me
I'm
too.
yeah. So this is
I'd even
quite.
practiced yesterday on Teams, and I was much calmer.
Now, I've been working with people living with dementia in the museum service, and I just love it. I find it the most rewarding thing. But sometimes we find it really hard to recruit people. So I was wondering, how do you find your participants?
So we're quite lucky. We have a really good relationship with our local social prescribers, GPs, but we make it very known that we are happy for people to self-refer.
Yeah.
So it's on our webpage. It's on the new Beamish webpage is much more structured compared to what we've had in the past. Again, we get a lot of people that are word of mouth. Someone's bumped into Beryl at the shops, and she's told them all about how her hubby's been coming to the men's group. And I would say we're 80% men to women, which is a big deal in the care world because it's nearly always predominantly women, and we genuinely believe that is the museum element. Because they're not coming to therapy, they're not coming to speak to someone about their mental health. They're coming to the museum and they've got a project they're working on. And in the meantime, there's a little bit of stealth OT going on in the background. And we've joked on for a long time about how if there's not a lot of chatter going on, I'll go and cook. And when I'm cooking, you bet every one of the chaps will come and speak to me in the kitchen. They'll come and lean on the sink, have a chat, tell us all about it, and then off they go. And it's just given that little. And it's something about cooking when you're in a kitchen.
No, I agree.
The whole family navigates in and chats. And
I do. Just see if you can help out, because everyone can do dry dishes or something, can't they?
Yeah, and this is it. I mean,
nice thing about helping out.
Yeah, everyone likes to help. Everyone likes to, assist making the brews. I mean, we've got the biggest teapot.
Yes.
Like proper big brown Betty. She's like this.
Oh,
you have to use two hands to lift it.
Perfect.
And she's the star of the show most of the time. Yeah.
As right as it should be.
Yeah, I get upstaged by Betty a lot. Everybody wants a brew. But yes, I think that our biggest thing is being out there. We're part of the Durham County Cree. We go to a lot of network meetings through the voluntary sector. And even
so you're really established as well now, aren't you? Yeah,
and I think that's come a long way. Even in the I mean, I've been here coming up 3 years in September, and I feel like we've made a big step in that time. I mean, Michelle, bless her, was right back 14 years ago. She started off in curatorial, and then just moved her way through. So yeah, as they say, small acorns. It was a little dream of Michelle's 14 years ago, and here we are. Long road, but a worthwhile one, definitely.
Well, thank you.
You're very welcome.
Brilliant. Thanks, Kat. I think it's Caris and then on to Ian. So, Caris.
Hi.
Hi, Caris.
Hello. That was fantastic. I really enjoyed that. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm doing a PhD on the history of the Ulster Folk Museum. I was just wondering if you could say a little bit more. I think there was a slide where you're talking about people coming forward with new ideas and linking to the history of the museum a little bit.
Yeah.
Because I've been reading a really good book at the moment, which is Sten Hentzog's 2007 text. And even then, in 2007, he recognised that there wasn't enough being done to sort of look at the potential and distinctiveness of open air museums that have sort of in social policy. So I was just wondering what you thought about all that. Yeah,
absolutely.
It was great. Thanks so much.
I think you're very welcome. I definitely think it's a wasted commodity as far as supporting people who need support with health and well-being. I think it's sad that a lot of museums are becoming small and lost because they haven't got funding or support, when actually the extra things that could come with that are huge, and they don't have to be massively funded. You just need bodies in there to run it, and it's not a lot to ask, because most museums have got a collection. And if you've got a collection, you've got something to build off. We've got quite a big project going on at the minute, basically trying to take control of our collection because it's big. And from the early days of Beamish, when it was linked to Bowes Museum, and there are still things floating around that belong to Beamish because they've never been able to be catalogued to the extent that they need to be. There's a lot of work being done around that. But there's nearly always a link. And I think with our guys, particularly, a lot of their generations are from the pit or being in, military services or, local factory work. That's quite a popular one. So for South Shields, it was like sort of Barber and Plessy's were a really big factory. And they're the history bits. All these photos come in from all these lovely people, and I'm like, I recognize that because that was from my childhood, and we're getting ready to look at the next step. And I think that comes with, and because we move through the eras, I feel like the 1950s is now right for the demographic of people we're supporting, and in time, we will need to move. Like nudge up to the 60s or nudge up to the 70s and what collections we're using. So whether the museum has another era or another big section, we still need the in-between bits because they're going to be crucial to the work we're doing with people with dementia and stuff like that. But yes, it's definitely a wasted commodity by far. And I think it's crucially important.
I think something that's really important to recognise is like how closely you can see the work you're doing aligning with like the original missions of folk museums. So I think that shows really great success in what you're doing because they are like people and stuff like accessibility. So it really links back to the origins of the folk museum.
Yeah, and I think it's not a new idea. I think it's a commitment to the idea. And have the idea of health and well-being can be a part of these museums and whatever, but it's also getting behind that and pushing it forward and letting the world know that we're here, and that we're willing and we're supporting, and even down to Joe Bloggs coming at the museum who has an access need, just knowing that the museum is open and able to help them access, that is a big step for a lot. So yeah, there's definitely a movement, and I think it's a strong movement if we can keep the ball rolling.
Thank you so much.
You're very welcome.
Thank you. And Caris, there's a note in the chat for you from Ollie as well with some contact details to follow up if that's of interest. Ian.
Yeah, Catherine, really interesting and really interesting the work that you're doing. I mean, also, dementia is obviously a very complex condition. It manifests differently in different people, and among those things, some people I know find change of place, routine very difficult, and that of itself can cause stress and also very negative reactions, sort of behavior changes, saying things that people would never have said before they had dementia, all that kind of stuff. I was wondering if you'd encountered any of that, and how, if there are negative sides to it, if you've counted people who have negative reactions to being in the group or the interaction with the group, or show stress when they're in it because it's outside of what they've become used to, and how you cope with that if that is an issue.
Yeah, absolutely. It's like anybody in a new environment, a new space. There's stresses and challenges come with that. We meet it all with patience and the understanding that sometimes we just have to change what we're doing, change the activity, redirect, maybe slightly different approach. We always meet our participants beforehand. We invite them to come for a cup of tea with a caregiver, family member, anyone who is important in their life, to come along, see the cottage and sort of get a feel for where we are and what we're doing. And then we build from that first step. So then if it's a case of they come and for the first time they come with their partner, their wife, and the wife can go and have a coffee, read a book while we run the session in another room, but that support network's there, and we just slowly build from there. It can take weeks, it can take months, it can take years. We will keep going, we will keep trying. For some, it's the dynamic of a group. It can be like anywhere. If you get two characters that don't mix well, that can be always challenging. But again, we can adapt. We looked at the groups. We can look at how we structure a group, whether this group isn't the right group, and whether we need to look at something else. But also, if we're not the right fit, that's also okay, and we'll social prescribe them onto something that's more suitable for that person. Because we're not a one size fits all. We want it to be really person centered and focused. So if it isn't the right thing, let us help you find the right thing. So a lot of the behind the scenes work is around supporting people to move on or move in. And what we find is a lot of our participants move in the sense of they become volunteers within the museum. So they've come in, they've built their confidence, they're feeling calm, they know they're supported, and then it's actually, I want something a little more. So then we've got one chap he's a potter up at Pockley. We had a lovely gentleman who used to work the entrance every day, and he was fully kitted out, so dapper, and he would meet and greet to his heart's content, and he loved it. And I think that is when the service we've provided is really achieved, in the sense of that, particularly with the men's groups, they've with mental health, they've built up that confidence and they've moved on. On the other side of the spectrum, those with dementia who come in, that journey is potentially going to get worse rather than better. But it's knowing that we've got that support network for them, but also for their carers, their family members. I've always said, I have some of the most serious conversations in a week in the car park, because I go up to meet whoever's picking someone up and they just need 5 minutes of my time. Because they need it, just things are so complicated, things are challenging. And this is where we can signpost people to Durham County carers, we can signpost them to the local authority or anything like that. We would happily do a referral for them if they need it. So for a little team, there's a lot of cogs we're in, but we wouldn't have it any other way.
Thanks, Catherine. I mean, I think that the pressure on the carer, and actually the value that they're getting out of the exercise is of equivalent importance, isn't it, to the primary beneficiary, really, actually, because okay.
We find sometimes as well, when time's passed and things have progressed and they now have time on their hands, we're finding some of the carers are coming back to volunteer because they just want to give back. They want to give back. They want to be part of it, and also they have this connection to Beamish that is comforting. And for them, that's a big deal.
You got that.
We have one lady who walks her dog every day, because that's where her connection is to a partner, and it's that kind of. So we build that almost like that family ethos of, you might not need us every day all day, but we're here, and if you want to come and be within the zone where you can feel more comfortable, that's fine.
No, thanks, Karen. I mean, I say I've got a personal as well as a professional kind of connection here. My mum's living with dementia at the moment, so it's been a journey, working with her as well. But
journey is very much what it is.
Yes, absolutely. But it's really interesting to hear the work that you're doing. Excellent. Thank you.
Fantastic. Does anyone else have any? Oh, yeah, Pippa.
Sorry, I couldn't get the mute off then. It's just a little bit about funding, really, how you sort of get funding to be able to do what you do. Would be interested.
I'm
sure it's various ways, I would think.
Yeah, we've got a couple of avenues. So we are lucky to have so many job roles supported by the museum. That was a commitment that was made when the decision was made to build the house, really, and that sort of thing. The CRE is a big, for the men's groups, they are classed as CRE groups, and they give us a monetary value every year to support that group running. for that, you are then involved with their network, which I can't see how to me, it looks one-sided, because we gain funding, but also we have all this networking as well, which is great, because I'm running an event in in May, and it's mainly like people from the career are all like, yes, let's get in there, and so it's a win-win. They're a lovely group of people, and they're really supportive, but they also help support in other funding avenues. So if anything comes up, they'll tell you. We've also looked at we've been approached by the Bearing Foundation. We're doing a bit of work with them now for the next couple of years. Other funders, so we'll go and look at different avenues like research work. I know they're looking at something else for the pottery group to support that. So it's just always looking for those avenues. The hardest bit is always finding funds for staffing. They'll support a project, but to support the staff to run the project is usually where the challenges come in.
Also, I was going to say about supporting staff being supported to be able to deliver these sessions. The support you need to be able to support others really is quite important. I should think.
Yeah, we are extremely lucky. We are supported by an external supervision once a month, and that's for an hour where we can, let it out. Because there are days you leave and it was like, wow, that was a heavy day. And we're very lucky that that's something that's never even been discussed about not being on the table. Because I think we couldn't do it.
No, that's what I'm thinking.
In you deal with one person's situation and that slides out the door and another one slides in, so you're always just sort of like bouncing off different things and dealing with different things. And best will in the world, if you are a carer, you care, and therefore you take things on board. The best professionals in the world will still have that problem because you care. So I do think what supervision support is what helps us massively to keep doing what we do.
I think you'd have to, wouldn't you? Otherwise, if you're not safe, you can't be safe for others in a way. And if you're not supported,
Yeah, I worked in the care industry for probably 20 years before I came to Beamish, and I never had that. And all through COVID, we never had that.
No.
And I genuinely believe the care sector would not be in the position they're in if there was supportive supervision. Where people can go and share their concerns and their worries and sort of realign that you can deal with this, but this is out of your control and that's okay. And it's working out that balance.
And any other training that you sort of got to help you be able to deliver, or not really? You've managed to find a way yourself.
We've done quite a lot of training, actually. We've done Namaste training, which is Namaste Care, which is a lady called Nicola Kendall, who is up north. She now works with I'll have to think of the name, but I will find out for you.
Yeah, don't worry.
But also we did the pack training with a lady called Tipa Snow. She's American, and she does the gem sequencing for dementia levels. And it's something that Michelle had done quite a lot of training in. And then we've all done like a course over 3 weeks. And it was a good 4 or 5 hours each session. And that really sets you up. It's really good training. And it makes a lot of sense, and we all work on that sort of trajectory within here, but we also do all the usual stuff for the museum, so all the integral stuff that you have to do, like your fire training and all that. But we are regularly on webinars and going to open events and workshops, just trying to bring in that knowledge. We do a bit of work with the NHS as well, so it's quite a mix.
It would be, yeah. Well, thank you so much. Really appreciate you. Yeah, thank you.
Did anyone else have any further queries for Catherine? I was intrigued, Catherine, you were sort of mentioning in one of your responses about sort of possibly moving towards the maybe the 60s or similar. I guess that's that kind of constant recognition of the audience you're working with and what they'll connect to. And I just wondered if those conversations had started with your collections team about collecting for that period or anything. I know there's not enough space and storage.
The bit I'm looking forward to is when they get to the 2000s, there'll just be a Perspex box with a phone in it. You know, it's like, it's I think they're always looking forward. They're always looking at what would be historically interesting and what, you know, needs to be collected and protected, so to say. So there's definitely, I mean, I've already
but
seen
you're
a
almost
few
kind of thinking about what's less historically interesting, more kind of what's relatable, I guess, is the sorts of resources that you will need
things
for
around home and
Clover Cottage of the 60s or 70s.
I was in collections not long ago, and there was a whole repertoire of Marilyn Monroe stuff, like all the models in the records and all sorts of different things. And I was like, wow, like that didn't even like register that would be anything that anyone would be interested in yet, you know. And it's like all these different things you come across, and it's quite a treasure trove in there. You can always come across something really interesting. So it's always moving forward. I was clearing out my dad's shed the other day, and I found a 1970s pogo stick, so that's come in. So it's amazing what random things you find, and you think that'll be very useful at the museum in about 20 years. So I'll take that in.
Ian, I think you've got another question.
Well, what's the question? It was a cheeky request, really, Catherine. Wearing my Museum Development North hat. We're looking to deliver some support generally around health and wellbeing and EDI later in the year, including some training sessions. And I just wondered if I might be able to talk to you about maybe helping out a bit with some of that, or a session. What we want to do with those is very much use lived experience, not know, people have got that experience. So
definitely, and if you get in touch with us, I'm sure Hannah will share me contact details, and then we can look at sort of what sort of work we've got and what capacity we'd have to help. A lot of the projects we're working on are around disseminating information and what you can do for men's mental health within different sectors. So that is part of what we're going to be doing over the next couple of years. So
okay, cheers, Catherine. It'd be nice to have a further chat. Thank you.
Brilliant.
I can't actually work out where the hand up button is.
Just put your hand up.
I just wanted to add that when we started doing our training, we did something. It was a free course on the Future Learn. And it is called Dementia and the Arts, Sharing Practice, Developing Understanding and Enhancing Lives. So that's really good. It's a Future Learn isn't free, but you can do your first course for free. So we all did our first course for free. It was so interesting. It was looking at lots of different artists and lots of different like creative professionals and loads of different ways of talking to people living with dementia, from people who were really well into their journey and people who were just at the start, and it was fantastic. It had people who were doing reminiscence work, people who were doing storytelling, drama, art, loads of different things. It was brilliant. So I highly recommend that. So if I can work out how to, I'll put it or I can give it to Hannah and she can email people.
Send it to me. We'll stick it out on the Royal Museums Network when I send this recording out. That'll be
okay. Perfect.
Thank you.
Anyone else for anything more? No, well, in that case, I think Catherine's definitely earned a cup of tea after all that. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon.
Welcome.
It's been so inspirational, and as you can tell, lots of food for thought.
Again, any questions? Anyone wants to know anything? We're always here. Give us a toot.
Superstar.
Thank you.
Obviously, fingers crossed and everything else, and best wishes for next
week
at the UK Dementia Awards. We hope to hear more about that. Thank you ever so much.
Lovely. Thank you very much, everyone.
Cheers, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon, and thanks for coming. And hopefully see you at another Royal Museums Network event soon. Cheers.
Thank you.